annual insurance review.
Good evening. Thank you for letting me attend your meeting. I appreciate it. I know you have a full agenda, so I won't take up a lot of time. I can probably fill 20 minutes just telling you about myself. We'll forego that. I'm going to give you a real quick overview of your insurance, starting with the property, building, and contents. Blanket coverage, $11,700,000+ of coverage for buildings and contents. If you look on pages 5 and 6, it breaks down the building and the business personal property, which is your contents of all of your properties, all of your real properties. Okay. The blanket coverage, if you add up all those numbers of the business personal property and building values, it adds up to that $11,776,000. Guaranteed replacement cost. So if a building looks a little underinsured, you don't really have to worry about it. Our computer modules say this is what the building needs to be insured for. If something happens catastrophically to this building, for example, we guarantee the replacement cost, even if it's going to cost us more than the value listed in the policy. So don't get hung up on those numbers if, you know, they're a couple $100,000 off because the cost of construction or, you know, plywood goes up because of hurricanes or natural disasters.
On the footprint.
On the footprint, correct.
Can't
Footprint. Now,
build bigger.
square footage. I like to use square footage because, you know, if you have a catastrophic loss on the building and you're going to rebuild it, you may say, well, this footprint doesn't serve us very functional anymore. We want to change the footprint, staying within the square footage. That's perfectly fine. If you need to add on to the building, then you pay for the additional add-on, and we take care of the original square footage. Okay? Your liability coverage, $1 million of coverage per occurrence with a $10 million aggregate. The aggregate is the total amount of insurance you have for the policy period. These run year to year. We supplement that with an umbrella policy of $6 million per occurrence with an $18 million aggregate. That's addressed at the very back of the review. But essentially, we have the capability of paying out a $7 million lawsuit for any liability problem, whether it be, you know, on a property, on a pollution, on a vehicle accident, whatever the case may be. The easiest way to explain your liability coverage is it protects you from the outside world, it protects you from yourself. When you're responding, our liability policy follows you, our auto liability follows you, and we protect you from yourself for such things as employment practices liability, sexual harassment, failure to hire, failure to promote, all of those employee volunteer related issues. We've got that coverage as well, okay? One quick, I just want to address the pollution liability. We are covering the use of foam, the Class B foam, the bad foam as we like to call it, for emergencies. As long as it's not prohibited, its use is not prohibited by the federal, state, or local government, then we are covering its use for emergencies. We are, at this point, we are not aware that the federal government or the state of New York has prohibited the use of Class B foams with the carcinogens that never go away. I am not aware of any municipality or local government that has banned its use, so we are covering them for emergencies. Don't use them for training, non-emergencies. Your cyber liabilities include up to, you know, the $500,000 you note on page 15. And on page 16, your crime and bond, a $3 million blanket policy, covers all of your employees, all your volunteers, all your board members, for both the, you know, the district and all of the sub-organizations underneath the district. The auto liability, pretty straightforward, $1 billion of coverage. Uninsured, underinsured, New York Mutual Aid. Again, for your vehicles, should the accident be your fault, $1 million of liability, plus the umbrella of $6 million. uninsured, underinsured, up to $1 million of coverage. You know, if the accident's not your fault and the person doesn't have enough insurance or is driving around with no insurance, we've got the coverage there. Your apparatus values on page 18. We can spend a couple extra minutes on that if you'd like, reviewing those. We have the new aerial platform for insured for $1,358,000. That's probably the purchase price. We're very close to the purchase price. I think in talking with Amy, I think the values are okay. I don't think we need to worry about making any major adjustments. You've got some capital funds set aside for a rotation of replacement of vehicles. So I think we're okay there. The only one I would call to your attention would be the very first one, the 94 HME pumper. That's getting up there in age at $450,000. The way our agreed value works, it's insured for $450,000. At our 75% total constructive loss option, you would, to total that vehicle, you would need more than $337,500 in damage. And for the folks that may not understand how our coverage works, we don't depreciate your vehicles for age. So we can insure this 20-some-year-old fire truck for $450,000 because we're not insuring it for what its value is today. If you try to sell that today, you're not going to get, obviously you're not going to be able to sell it for $450,000. But if it gets totaled in an accident or catches on fire or something and is completely totaled, we're insuring more of the replacement of that vehicle. So the agreed value coverage, it pays, simply put, it pays the lesser of the repair, the actual replacement for the agreed value. And for us, the actual replacement would be the cost to replace it brand new. So if we could replace that for brand new for $300,000, we'll replace it for $300,000. We know we can't replace that pumper for that price. It probably can't be replaced for $450,000. But as the vehicles get older, you've got to take into consideration that when your vehicle reaches 75% damage to agreed value, we pay you the agreed value. So that 75% trigger in this case is $337,500. You need to damage that vehicle more than $337,500 to get the $450,000, the agreed value. We settle the claim. As that vehicle gets older, it may become a little more difficult to reach that 75% trigger on a claim or on an accident, and then you're really not utilizing the coverage to its best abilities for the older apparatus. So you may want to, at some point we may want to have a discussion on looking at a little more realistic number to insure that for. But my guess is that might be the next one in rotation for replacement.
I think so, yeah, but we're not.
But we love it. Yeah, that's why it's still here. I feel you. My fire department back home, we have an older fire truck. We don't want, it's not in service first line anymore, but we don't want to get rid of it. So I understand what you're saying.
So
portable equipment.
I
Go ahead.
think we probably ask you this every year. What's the cost per thousand for that coverage?
Give or take, ballpark, about $125 to $150 per $100,000 of insurance.
100
Yeah. So.
per 100,000.
Yeah. So to drop that to $350,000 in coverage, it would probably save you about ballpark $125 to $150 a year. So it's not a lot. I mean, it's not an expensive coverage per se, but it's something to consider. As the vehicles get older, it doesn't really make sense to insure them for that real high. I know the cost of fire truck. I mean, you guys well know you just paid $1.3 million for an aerial. New pumpers are $750, approaching $800,000. It's just not it's just not feasible, for lack of a better term, to insure the 30-year-old fire truck for $800,000. Because it's just difficult to get that much damage on the vehicle to reach that high amount, you know. Portable equipment on page 24. This is the equipment on your apparatus. If you can walk away with it, it's portable equipment. If it's bolted down or welded to the vehicle, it becomes part of the vehicle. Your portable equipment, your bunker gear, your hand tools, all of your equipment, gas meters, SCBA's, hose, all that stuff, guaranteed replacement cost. If it gets damaged, we'll try and fix it. If we can't fix it, we'll replace it. The bunker gear, if we can't clean it and recertify it for use, then we replace it at today's cost, okay? With a minimal deductible of only $250, okay? And then that takes us back to the umbrella policy, as I alluded to earlier, $6 million of coverage, $18 million aggregate. So on any one claim, we have the ability to pay out, again, $7 million. Hopefully we never have to write that big of a check. You guys have been very good at keeping your claims to a minimum, I guess we shall say. So we've been pretty good. And then the very back page, our insurance program is more than just providing insurance for when you have a loss. We also have our risk management services and our training services that are free as part of our ESIP program. So I urge your members to take advantage of those free things, the training, the online training, and as you're well aware of our webinars and so forth, are all available at no charge. Okay, that was a real quick 30,000-foot overview. If I know you have a full agenda, but if you want to set an evening aside to delve into the policy a little deeper and in detail, I can certainly come back and do that.
What's the deductible on buildings?
$1,000 deductible on the building.
And then it's $250 on portable equipment.
$250 on portable equipment, and the apparatus is $1,000 deductible on the apparatus.
Is everybody happy with the schedule of values on the apparatus? We usually struggle over that.
Yeah, I think review of engine 11 would be a good idea at some point. Review of 11 would be a good idea, but I don't think it's anything we need to do immediately. It's not a significant savings.
We'll leave that as it is. Everybody happy with it? All? That was pretty quick, wasn't it?
Too quick or
Nope.
too long?
Any
I never help
questions?
it. I can give you an education on insurance. You'll be throwing stuff at you. That's something. Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to sit in with you folks. Again, any questions, give me a call, shoot me an email. My business cards are here. No problem.
Now, the cancer insurance is a different policy than
Correct.
liability, so that's totally different. And you offer additional coverage for cancer coverage?
Yeah, we have you on the enhanced policy. The cancer coverage is taken care of. That is in effect as of 1/1. So we do cover your members for the enhanced policy. So we do offer some above what's required by the state. We've enhanced our policy over the last year or so to be able to provide some coverage for skin cancers. Not all skin cancers, but most skin cancers as part of our enhanced policy. And your firefighters are covered for that as well. But that's that's a separate policy apart from that policy.
Okay. Well, I guess that looks good. And I didn't see a dollar figure here. You'll be sending that.
It's free.
What's that? It's free.
I wish I could say it's free.
That's okay.
Yeah, that'll be coming out soon. We can email it out.
Yeah, okay, that'd be good.
Yep.
We have a couple of things we need to sign and send back. We have a couple of things to sign and send back,
Right.
and then they'll send us.
Yeah, some of the regulatory forms that the state requires to be signed every year, I guess that one of you commissioners have to sign them, and then Amy will send them back, and then the invoices will get sent out. All righty?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your.
Well, and Tony did bring us some cookies. so-
Have some cookies.
Thank you.
It looks like he baked them himself.
Yes. Yeah. I
Slaved away.
slaved away mixing those
Well, we
cookies and
appreciate
bacon.
Okay, so moving on, we need approval of the minutes of December 20th, regular meeting. We have a motion. Mike Malone and Jeremy. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. We need to approve the minutes of the December 28th year-end meeting. Motion by Malone, second by Patterson. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. The January 3rd organizational meeting. Diane and Cheryl. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Treasurer's report.
Okay, packets. You should have 3 items from me. The codes, the district, and then a separate voucher one. Okay, we got tonight 53 district vouchers, 6 credit cards, 1 code, and 3 overtime worksheets. I'll go through my notes first, and the bank statements. Mike sure wins that lottery. He gets to check those. And then this month's report is the end of the year for the district and for the codes. And then there's just a January voucher sheet. And next month it starts your typical reports you're used to, but then I compare it February to January. But for tonight, it's just the year end. With I needed to wait for the interest for the bank account. I put them in. There's no change. It's just the year report. The district codes the same, just less pages. And that's for the year. And all forms have been mailed for the taxes, the district service awards, W-2s, 1096s, 1099s, all that's gone out by today, so which I've had to, that's done. And let's see what else I think that's pretty much it. That's it. Oh, and the fixed assets, I assume this is the last change you get. No one had any questions when they paid the fixed assets you got a couple months ago? Okay, because that's the number I'll use on the AUD, okay.
Is the format for the annual update document, has that changed
Yes.
yet, or is it, or to,
It's changed.
it has?
More than it.
Okay. I didn't know whether it was,
Well,
effective for the 2021 year.
I think the auditors are getting ready. They made some changes in what I submitted last year, putting in the new stuff. So this year, I'm sure it's going to have it.
Any questions for the treasurer about his reports? The motion for approval. Patterson, Malone. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. And we need to, motion to approve the vouchers as presented in audit. Patterson, Malone. Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. I'm sure you have the bank statements and permissive referendums, their status quo right now, right? Correspondence.
The Fire District Affairs was received and distributed. We received the 2022 Leadership Summit for the Association of Fire Districts of the State of New York. That's May 5th through the 7th. So any commissioners or district officers interested, let me know. We received a letter from Kit Thompson for her, she serves on the board of directors for Association of Fire Districts, Riverview Cemetery. Bill Dwyer serves as treasurer for the National Clock and Watch Collectors Association. And I got a letter from Barb and Charlie. They serve on, sorry, covered Woodworkers of Central New York. Kentwood Senior Citizen and Friends of Daniel Parish Witter Agricultural Museum. Barb's on the board for that, so we have copies of those for the insurance coverage for outside board. Do those have to be approved, or is it automatic once we get writing?
Well, can't do any harm to approve them. Irving, Malone. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. No one made any questions. Okay, two speeches here. We think that, Corcoran, are you going to do his report?
I'll do it. I can do that. Chief speech had to work this evening. Equipment purchases. We purchased 6 lengths of 100-foot lengths of 4-inch supply line for engine 21 and truck 2, and some reserve stock. We've ordered some miscellaneous medical supplies to replace some outdated meds. We're currently working on purchasing several items for truck 2 that will be ongoing as the Station 2 officers generate some lists of equipment that they'd like to see added to truck 2. Apparatus-wise, the new truck 2 is operating well with minimal or minor issues. The chief is communicating with Jerry, different things that are being found. Jerry's taking care of those things. We're waiting on some of the equipment that we've ordered from the list of the Station 2 officers, and we're working through that. Warranty items are being taken care of as parts become available, so that's ongoing. COVID-19 preparation and response-wise, we're fully stocked with PPE. And as we communicate to our officers, if there's any needs at the stations, they can contact line officers contact myself or the chief, and we make sure that they've got the supplies they need. As always, the chief, different venues, business meetings and such, reminds all of our members to be vigilant, wearing their PPE on all calls, make sure that masks are clean and sanitized, masks are worn, hands are clean and sanitized, as well as the equipment. Policy as of 12/13/21 remains in effect with no changes. Masks are required indoors at all times, regardless of vaccination status. on all calls and alarms, both in the vehicle and on scene, regardless of vaccination status, but masks are not required while our members are out of doors. Kitchens, ice machine, and popcorn machines are out of service currently. Chief, I had a conversation with the chief today, and I guess he's in conversations with the commissioners about opening up the kitchen for members. So again, he shared that with me. Any questions, please don't hesitate to contact myself, Chief Cesaro, or Chief Speech. The Zoll EMS chart software, we've been live for a while now with EMS charts. Our members are using it. Our members are working through the unique status, the unique peculiarities of it. And the chiefs are our reviewer before they get submitted. And he's shared with me, as well as in this report, that the charts are coming along. They look great. M2 usage, our med fly car, is increasing. And as always, the chief is encouraging our members to put duty crews in service or setting up engine 91 days. As always, members have been reminded to try and increase or continue to use the BRICS app when responding. It helps all of us know who's coming, what apparatus we can expect. And then again, as always, thank you for your continued support. You commissioners for your continued support. And all three chiefs are looking forward to a safe and productive 2022.
Okay, do we want to address his thoughts on the kitchen at this point?
My suggestion was open up kitchen, ice machines, and popcorn for members' use, for member use. Is that what you said?
So member use, so if someone, I mean, we're still letting the hall out, but no use of the kitchen. So if we let the hall out, it does not include the kitchen, it's just for members. Correct? Okay, what if a member takes the hall out? It does not, you know, for a bridal party.
Yeah, I'd say it would be fire department activity. Right?
So a fire department activity, so it wouldn't be, the kitchen is not open for a bridal party for a member. It's just open for fire department activities.
So if they wanted to use it on Thursday night for a drill or meeting, they can open it up.
Yeah.
But any outside groups coming in, no.
Right.
Yeah. So opening up kitchen, ice, and what was the other thing?
Popcorn.
Just for fire department, fire district activities.
And we talked at one time about the popcorn. Were we going to try to get away from the bowls of popcorn that people put their hands in and like have just bags or something?
I don't know,
When Luke went out to buy the popcorn supplies and all that, he wasn't directed to buy any type of bags. He only bought the popcorn and the butter and the oil that we needed. I mean, if you want us to look at getting into bags, that's gonna, I mean, you can get them, it's just, then you're gonna need a different type of scooper and everything else in order to put it into the bags. But my thought is, here, we at least know everybody's wearing a mask when we're cooking and everything else. When I go out to restaurants, I have no idea what the cooks are wearing in the background and everything else when I get served. So I feel with us in here, we're wearing masks. We're more protected eating the popcorn than we are if we go out to public and everything else. So I don't think the bags would really be a feasible type thing.
I know there was a discussion at one time about that.
Are we talking about the bags just because people would be using, say, a plastic container and contamination that way? Is that?
Yeah, I think like sharing a bowl, like if somebody got a bowl of popcorn out, 2 or 3 different people would eat from the same bowl. But usually when you get your popcorn, you usually take what's in your hand.
On Amazon, you can get 200 bags and the scooper for $17.
That's up to you guys, if that's what you want to go with, but
Or if you really need that hot cup of coffee, filters work great.
Those are probably more.
The thinking was to go to like sandwich bags, like bags that we use for lunch bags, the paper bags, instead of getting the specialized popcorn bags, and get rid of the bowls because the bowls become unsanitary. The bowls are no longer here. They're all down at Station 2. The guys took them all down there. So there isn't a single bowl up here at this point. There's no popcorn up here either. So,
A brown paper bag, a lunch bag.
Lunch bag.
Yeah, you can do lunch bags.
that was my thinking when we started talking about it, when we were talking about the kitchen and things, was the paper bags for, that kids take their lunch in school. It's cheaper, it's easy.
If you don't put a bowl there, they can't use it. Put the bags there, they have to.
Yep, and that was the thinking.
I mean, bags wouldn't be, paper bags, they work easy because they use those like at carnivals and stuff like that in schools where they just put in a paper bag and there you go.
Yep.
A lot easier than going with those little plastic.
And popcorn bags, no, because those are unique in size, and you go with paper bags, they're just the lunch bags. That's the thing we thought about.
Man, that's not bad.
Well, are we happy with that? Okay. Are you making that motion, Jim?
In the kitchen, popcorn, ice machines, backup, fire mat,
And only subject to change if something weird happens.
Fireman and department.
Fire department.
Fire department, yes.
I mean,
Fire
fireman
department,
is not
district.
everything.
But they might know.
Started opening
My
lunch.
personal,
What was that?
taking ice home, if somebody wants to take a bag of ice.
I got a whole bunch hanging off my gutters. I don't see a problem.
Need 3 bags.
Do we have a second? Mike? Shura? Okay, Patterson and Shura?
Starting, when is this going to start?
Fire up the machine, Mark. Fire up the machine.
No, absolutely. I don't have to tell Luke that twice.
Just text him, then we get.
Oh, yeah, he'll be there.
Okay.
Right now.
And
All right.
I'm glad that you sent out something tomorrow, but it's effective now.
I will communicate to the chief that this is done, approved to send something else.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. So now, Chief Corcoran, do you have a report for yourself?
I can report to Chief Massaro for it.
Okay.
Chief Massaro currently working on a number of different pre-plans, has been in conversations with representatives at Timberbanks for the new event center they have there. We just did a walkthrough of Park of Onondaga over on Radburn, so that's working forward. We also had a meeting with our code enforcement official, just to kind of go through some of the concerns we had, some of the questions we had. Like a better term, open line, a good line of communications with our code enforcement representative was very productive. Chief has already working extensively on a number of different pre-plans, take care of a number of different items related to our pre-plans as well as facilities, businesses, things of that nature within the district.
Okay, so how about, so that's part 3.
We just completed last week mandatory training for fire department and all members, active, support, light, et cetera, went very well. As training chief, I just want to say thank you to both Amy and the chief's speech. They were instrumental in that coming off as well as it did. Thought it went real well. Amy's also sent out to everyone how to complete the mandatory training if they were unable to make the last class, which I very much appreciated, or the in-person class, as well as when the due dates for those things are. When the mandatory training has to be completed by our members. So the 4 topics to cover and taken care of. Upcoming this month, we have slated fire behavior, another pre-plan review with Chief Massaro, and then initially in my mind, I had it as a EMS drill, and Dr. Padalino approached me again. He approached me just before COVID hit, but he approached me again and is willing to do a presentation for our members on strokes, recognition, treatment, et cetera, et cetera. I think a terrific topic from, can't find a better person to do a presentation like that. He's a noted expert in that. My thought is on this, I'm gonna have a conversation, I've already talked with the chief about it, he was in support. I'm gonna open it up to support and life members, because he's gonna talk not only about, from the EMS side, the treatment, if we get called to a possible stroke, we'll also talk about recognition, you know, early notification to 911, et cetera, et cetera. So I think it'd be a really good topic for all of our members, as we all have family members, et cetera, et cetera. I know my wife and I are getting at that age where, you know, strokes are something that we need to consider or be aware of. So my game plan is to open that drill up to everybody in the department so everybody can benefit from the doctor's expertise and knowledge.
And you haven't got a date for that yet?
Yes, I do. Right now, we got it scheduled for the 24th, and I also left it with Dr. Padalino, because again, how busy he is. If we need to adjust that due to something come up with him, then we will. But as we left it, it's going to be the 24th. If that changes, of course, I always send out emails, but if that changes, I'll make sure I let everybody know. So, and Chief and I have been sitting and having conversations about long-term planning. We put in to the county, because the county sent out the first round, if you will, of requests for state training. At the last officers meeting, we asked the line officers for their suggestions for possible classes that our members wanted to attend, state class-wise, as well as which ones we might want to host. Then the chief and I reviewed that list. The chief submitted his request to the county for that, and referred back on one of them that we requested not only to partake in, but also to host, so we'll be scheduling that state class. We'll probably be getting a couple of more.
What class is that again?
Pardon me?
What class is that?
The one that we've been assigned, if you will, is firefighter and electrical vehicle emergencies. So, the way it was left with the county, Northwest and Belgium were both offered that class. And then I talked with Chief Natoli from Northwest. We kind of talked it over with we'll probably hold it up here. I'd like to request that we hold it at Station 1, the larger room. It's a lecture only. I know if the state, if it's a class like that, they can exceed the 25 maximum limit. So Chief Natoli said, yeah, why doesn't we'll host it, because we have a larger venue for a class like that. So I'll be getting in touch with the lead instructor on that one and setting up the dates. It'll be a Tuesday or a Wednesday, either one night or 2 nights, depending on how we do it. And we'll go from there. But according to the Norm Carroll's instructor, he indicated that Tuesday and Wednesday would be a better date. So which works for us. So as we start to narrow those dates down, I'll coordinate that with Amy to make sure there's no conflicts with other hall usages.
Okay, thank you. Any questions?
Yes, sir.
I held off because you did all 3 tubes. Going back to 2 Street, did he relay to you yet if we've gotten the forage or something? No.
Yes.
Right? Because it would have been delivered back.
We got some hose in a while ago, but I think that was some damage lines that was.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
have gotten that big.
Yeah, that's all taken care of. No, the stuff we ordered this time.
Now it's
He didn't tell me that, but.
No, I don't.
And if you could maybe relate to Chief Massaro, there's the second plan review for the new apartment complex. Another week or 2.
The one on 31 and
That
30.
drags. Yeah,
Do you know the date on that, sir?
Next Thursday.
it's a Tuesday or Thursday, so.
It's next Thursday, Joe. It was in the newspaper last week.
I think in a chief speech, may want to have input.
We've been actively involved with that. I did mention that, but Bill, Chief Massaro got a schematic of the plans, and we sat down at the last line officers meetings and drew up our recommendations for some hydrant locations, some other things related to access and having good opportunity, having hydrants where we needed them. That was that, and Chief Massaro was relaying that over to the town engineer. We've been in conversations with him. We also shared that with code enforcement, just to make him aware of what we were doing related to that. So Bill's been on top of that pretty long. But I will make sure that I let them know that.
They drafted a letter both to the town and the engineer for the apartment complex with some of the department's concerns.
So 210 is that meeting. Okay.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Committee reports, communication.
We have nothing to report, but we do have a tentative meeting scheduled in February.
Building and facilities.
Good. The server, I believe, was delivered late December, but had parts
Oh, it's going to
broken.
be here Wednesday.
It's going to be here Wednesday.
They're delivering it Wednesday.
So it was broken, they took it back, it'll be here Wednesday. That was quick, thanks.
They called like right before I left.
Courts parking lot, obviously with the weather, that's still on hold till the spring. Station 2 roof, pretty much the same. When Dave was working on this, the average of 8 months, going back and reviewing past minutes, he mentioned that in November or December. So hopefully early spring, Plumlee and I will get together to see when we're starting. Correct, Jerry? Jesse, okay.
Yep.
For those that didn't know, we had a sprinkler pipe break a couple of weeks ago behind the kitchen in the generator room. With the cold weather, even though it's a fire door, if you can leave that back door open when it's extremely cold, just the way the whole system is set up, we got caught that day. We lost power that morning, generator kicked. We have to have makeup air, so it brought in cold air. We were below zero. That froze the pipes. So just a fluke.
Was the pipe activated, it's not tied into the alarm system?
Oh, that was on.
Because who got notified that the pipe was broken, or how did it get notified?
Oh, I thought it triggered the alarm.
No, it didn't trigger the alarm.
Oh, because it leaked on the
I was
back.
doing a vehicle check and I came in and I heard it hissing. And I didn't know what was hissing, so when I opened the door, the T on the fire pipe
Right.
was spitting water out at the wall. So it had split the T.
Yep.
And it was coming out at such a rapid rate, but it wasn't enough dumping to alert the alarm. So at that point I called Jerry and I said, you need to get up here.
Right. Okay, I was just wondering if, because if the head tripped.
It wasn't that.
It wasn't a head mark, it was just the pipe itself split.
It was, yeah, it was like a hairline fracture in the pipe.
Yep, okay. I just wondered how come the alarm didn't go off.
Let me see. Mikey, you're here. You got your hot water back?
Hot water.
Station 2.
Station 2 hot water. Yes, it is working. There you go. yesterday.
You asked, we got it done.
Yeah, it was working good
For
yesterday.
another week, I think it's fixed to it.
Okay. We just found the other day, we've got a slight leak at headquarters 2 in the roof. Then again, it's minor right now. We won't be able to have people look at it until probably the spring because it's a metal pitched roof. But John and Jerry are right on it and almost minimal to no damage because they caught it quick. So that'll be on in the future.
Well, there's not stuff under there.
Not now, but John moved a lot of stuff. I think that's pretty much it. Any questions?
Thank you, Mike. New truck committee,
I think the chief kind of covered it in his report. Excuse me. Station 2, the chiefs continue to work on getting the equipment mounted. We're not working on any new truck currently, so it's still just getting truck to 100%. So little by little, as parts come in, we start mounting it. Are we still waiting on the computer truck? Is that it?
Yes,
It's in.
they're in, the bracket, the whole lights, and regular, and part.
Slowly but sure, it's getting
lesson of public safety, the next meeting is February 15th at Phoenix at 7 p.m. Budget and finance, I don't think we have anything to report there. IT committee, yeah.
Yeah, I want to present to the board. We looked at first arriving at CoStar website. They have a station board option, which will tie into Red Alert, it will tie into exchange calendars for Station 1, Station 2 training rooms, the tower, for creating those calendars. And it also allows us to put in training schedules, event activities, announcements. It's something we've been talking about for a while. They have a solution that ties into that. It is $1,000 for the initial license. It uses a Chrome device. It's like $300 per device, and then it's $420 per device per year for that license. So it's basically a $1,000 one-time fee for the setup, $300 one-time fee per device for the hardware, and then depending on how many we get, it's $420 per year for the license. So I want to, eventually I think, we want to do 2 in every station. At least get the one out in the bays done first. If it works out well, I'm working with Ryan McNeil a little bit. I think what we want to try to do, if it's possible, take the 40 inches down, move them to a lounge. I don't know where you guys want it in Station 2, but somewhere where it's not in the bays, but in the quarters more. And then get a larger, maybe 55, 60 inches of the bays, so it's a little more visible. But we're going to do it in stages. So what I am requesting right now is up to $3,000 to get the license, 2 devices, 1 for each station, and the $420 annual license fee for 2 devices to get Station 1 and Station 2 done with the current TVs. If it works out well, I may be back next month to get bigger TVs and swap them out. So I am making a motion for up to $3K for station boards from first arrival.
Okay, Malone second. Patterson made a motion, Malone second. Further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Recruitment and retention. Do you think sometime we'll get back to the delivery of the,
Yeah, Diane and I talked about that. I think once the curve, and it might be soon, once that curve comes back down, we just weren't comfortable going door to door until those numbers come back.
I actually just talked to Deb today, and I'm planning on March 1st, if my start date will go out.
oh, okay. Personnel, I don't think we have a report. caretaker leader report and the caretaker report are in our packets. Any questions? Truck maintenance.
Jerry's working on ladder testing. I think you guys saw the red alert message that came out. We also got some requests from the line officers meeting, which the chief held. We're looking into retrofitting engine 21 and rescue 1 with LED headlights. If you recall, last year we did engine 11. It seems to be a popular replacement. It definitely helps with visibility on that. Rescue 1's pretty poor headlights, and 21, I think that's the same complaint. So we're working with John Bray to get those retrofitted.
Building maintenance, and that kind of delves into your earlier report, but
Well, could I add something to either Jeremy's truck maintenance or, I'll say truck maintenance. With the new Suffolk, we have the option of getting the guy called me the other day for the extended warranty. An extended warranty on the Cummins diesel. They offer about 4 packages, and it's all in the time frame. I just got them today, that's why the laptop's open. I just got them before the meeting. Everybody I talked to said it's well worth getting, because everything, the way we operate a diesel is all against us. We don't drive them. We don't run them hot enough, long enough. We don't regenerate them enough. Everybody says no matter what package we purchase, it'll pay for itself. I just did some quick figures with what you kicked out to me. If we took the best of everything they had for 10 years, it's $8,500. Jerry, we've done some rebuilds on, did we do it on the old LTI?
The engine part?
Yeah, with injectors and
Oh,
things.
yeah. Yeah, the fuel injector opened up and filled the base with diesel fuel. That's $8,000.
That was a one-time occurrence. So,
Are you talking 500 a year
no, this is total package.
for 10 years?
For 10 years, it would be 8,500.
Yeah.
So, I would like to make a motion, and again, I'm just reading off of here. I did the quick math, it's 8,500 for the best of the best. Just in case I'm off a little bit, motion for $9,000, and then allow myself, the maintenance committee, Jerry, to get together, come up with which package may be best. Talk to the Cummins people again, and make a decision before the next meeting.
when does the periods, I guess if you made that motion, we need a second. Mike, okay, so discussion. When does it start? Does it start with delivery of the truck? Does it start a year after the delivery because it's guaranteed for a year? How does that work out?
Good question. I asked her that when I first talked to her. We bought the truck in October, or signed for it in October, and we got a 1-year warranty with that. If we bought a 10-year warranty, if we waited till next October to purchase this, you're a year into it. So you're not adding 10 to it. So if we bought it last October and you bought a 10-year, it's 10 years from then. If I wait till September, October of 22, it's 10, well, it'll be 9 years from there, but you're buying a 10-year warranty. So, we don't gain anything by prolonging it, except possibly a price increase. So,
And is this with Stepton or is this with another
this is with the engine manufacturer,
engineer?
Cummins.
The engine manufacturer. Okay, further discussion?
Where do we want to take that from?
Oops.
I was just saying, do we want to make it a permissive referendum to take it out of one of the reserve accounts?
Oh,
Do you want to do that?
so we gotta pay it all up front?
I don't know that yet. Again, she sent this to me just before the meeting.
I mean, it might be yearly.
Is that a yearly fee or one-time fee?
One time.
One time, but it may be paid annually, or it may be paid in one payment, we don't know that yet.
We don't know that. I would just like to be able to have the money from somewhere and hopefully have it either started or at the next meeting, we're at the point where we can make a decision. Because if I work on it and sign the paperwork tomorrow, it's no different than if I sign it in 30 days. But I just wanted to start the ball rolling.
Well, should we just approve up to $9,000 and we can decide how the payment will be made at the next meeting? I mean, if it's $850 a year, that would be different than as if it's a
Right.
$2,500 upfront payment.
And I don't know if, again, with her message, it's like, call me tomorrow. Okay. I don't know if it's an all up front, or if they split it out over 10 years, or if we had that option. I'm not sure yet.
Sometimes if you pay it all up front, they give you a discount.
Right, right. But if everybody said tonight, no, we don't want this at all, then I wouldn't pursue it any further, so. But I think it's something well worth looking into.
Mike, does that include the diesel exhaust system? Is that, that'd be something that you get some money on, baby, so.
I'm not 100% sure.
We ought to sit down and talk sometime.
Right, but like I said, I just got this, so, yeah. I'm just looking at it right now.
I would think if you're gonna have any trouble that first 5 years, it's probably gonna be the exhaust system.
Yes.
The engine probably be all right, but the exhaust, you can get that kind of money on too.
And the way she was talking to me on the phone, just because the way we operate over, it's
Yeah.
no different from our department than any other volunteer department or mid-sized and smaller municipal department. None of them run them enough. So it's just meeting all the EPA stuff that we can't change.
If it's good in 30 days, I think that you should put a little research into it and check, if it's not something that you have to jump into right now. Look and see, like Jerry said, what exactly are they going to cover? Because I know with a lot of the warranties, there's always certain things that are excluded.
That's what I said I was doing.
Thank you.
I just wanted to bring it out to the body that we're looking into it.
Okay, something I also want, do we need to vote on that motion? Okay, all in favor? Opposed? Carried. I did want to make mention that the flags are, the flag decals are all on all the trucks, and thank Chief Corcoran for all the work he did last year on that extended project. Thank you.
Well,
Old business. Don't see any on the agenda. New business, because of scheduling with Well Now, we're proposing to extend the physical deadline through the end of March. So, do we have a motion that we could do that? Long, Patterson, physical deadline to the end of March 2022. Discussion? All in favor? Carried. Then approval for those members who want the paperwork for the DOT physical. Any member who contacts and gets approval from the board can get that paperwork done. So we have a motion for approval. All, Diane, all in favor? Opposed? Carried. Mandatory training, we stuck that in there because we just wanted to clarify, and this was announced at the training last week, that the members who take the training online will get 3 training credits. The members who took the training in person at last Thursday night will get 3 training credits. So it's comparable, it's equal.
Win-win.
What?
Win-win.
Win-win, okay. Open meetings, I would bring to your attention that some months ago, Governor Hochul signed a law regarding the agendas and things that documents that will be discussed at commissioners' meetings should be posted on our website, and they have been posted on our website. The December regular meeting was, the December special meeting, the organizational meeting, and tonight's meeting. It presents a bit of a problem for us because our meeting is on Monday, and we're supposed to be posted 24 hours before the meeting. So the secretary would be doing this on Friday. So there may be times that things are discussed through the weekend and are not finalized, and those things would not be on the website. But if you go to our website, on the bar, under news, public documents, there's meeting minutes, legal notices, and agendas. And Jeremy, you perhaps can explain our process here and what we went through to get this working.
So when the governor signed the new law, we wanted to do it in Power DMS, because that's where we all get our information for SOGs. It's an easy system to use. It actually works out great. They have a public documents module. However, it is $3,000 a year. So it was cost prohibitive for us to spend money on that. So we worked with First Arriving. That's the reason it took us a little while to get that working. They had to redo the navigation bar, redo some of the coding, but Amy worked with them. I think we got a pretty decent solution now for hosting those documents. It's in a single location. Ideally, Power DMS would have been great because that's where all of our documents are, but second best is it's hosted on the website. So that's the process we went through. It took us a while to work with First Arriving and get that engineered to code it.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Yeah, just to let you know, like the schools, board docs, they post all their information on Friday, and their board meetings are on Mondays. So they posted everything always on Friday, and that's the only time that it's open to the public wise, that where people can see it. So it works out pretty good. They've never really had any problems or complaints from the public or anything on that part.
Well, we'll do the best we can.
Yeah.
Extended warranty options, that, Mike, I'm assuming that
That's the same thing.
that is the issue, okay. I'm adding an item to the agenda concerning our service awards investments, and Jeremy can report on that.
So we met with our LoSAP fund advisor 2 weeks ago, I think now. He reviewed the different funds that were in. If you guys recall, 4 years ago, I believe-ish, 5, 4, somewhere around there, we switched from, we were just investing in a straight mutual fund, 2 different or 3 different kinds, and the money just sat there, and as the market went up, the value went up, and as the market went down, the value went down. We switched to an active model where AI, artificial intelligence, is being used to actually move funds around real time during the day. It's gotten us, they measure it using beta, this thing called beta, right? And the stock market, if you were to just take money and invest it into like the S&P index, that's 1.0 risk factor. Anything below 1.1 or 1.0 is considered less risky. Anything above 1.0 is more risky than just investing in the S&P index. We have 2 funds, one's a 0.45 and the other's a 0.6. So that's where the money is actually currently being invested in. It changes, it's rebalanced based on market trends. That we've never had that before, but it's given us more of a steady build. The market's been crazy lately. I don't know if you guys follow the market, but there's highs, and it goes real low, and it comes back up, and we've been able to somewhat, with this new model, balance that out. So we're not gaining as much as we did in the old system, but we're not losing as much either. So it's more of a steady growth. And for the fire district, our job is to make sure that retirement fund, which is for all the members, we don't want to lose money. We want to be conservative, but not like bond conservative, right? We want it to grow, but we don't want to bet it all on some startup stock and risk it all. So this has given us that opportunity. I think the review went overall pretty good. I was happy with the results.
Okay, so I think that as long as we aren't going to make a change, we just continue.
Yeah, I should say, we met with him because we want to make sure it doesn't need to be adjusted, corrected, maybe we need more risk, less risk, and based on the certified financial planner, he thinks the path that we're on right now is the safest given the market. So.
Any further new business from the board?
Yeah, do we need to make a motion to renew the insurance? To move forward with the insurance renewal?
Well, I don't know, we don't have the cost for it yet. The renewal date is March 1st.
March 1st.
So our next meeting is,
February 28th.
yeah, it's pretty close.
Move forward if it's within our budget. I wouldn't expect it to be a huge increase, but we did add $1.5 million as well.
At this point, if we decided not to go with it, we were going to have a hard time getting a renewal date.
We say approval up to 5% increase, more than that, or 10% over last year.
Seven? Okay.
So I'll make the motion to approve the insurance company up to a 7% increase for 2021's premiums.
Okay. Second, Mike Long. Any discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Anything else? Public comments? Our next meeting is February 28th, at 7 p.m. There again, it's the fourth Monday because of holiday, President's holiday, and the third Monday. And motion to adjourn? How about Mike Tura? Diane, second. All in favor? Aye. Adjourn.